Joining us now is Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson. Senator, great to see you tonight. All right, on this issue, I can remember one of your colleagues in the wake of that big abortion decision saying that certain justices were going to reap the whirlwind as a result of the way that they ruled on this. So I want to know what you make of this issue. Do they need more money to be safe, or do your colleagues need to change the way they talk about this Supreme Court? What do you say?
First of all, that quote came from a Democrat senator, not a Republican colleague.
Right.
Let's make sure of that. I mean, but we heard Hakeem Jeffrey there. That was one of the milder forms of inciting violence against the court. And let's face it, let's be honest. Most of the political violence occurring in America today is coming from and incited by the left, by Democrats, by their elected leadership. It's a very sad state of affairs. So yes, unfortunately, I think the Supreme Court does need additional funding for additional security. It's very, very unfortunate. But again, this isn't, there's not, a moral equivalency here. The violence in our politics primarily comes from the left. Compare the Summer of Love in 2020, the hundreds of peaceful protests that just happened to spring into riots, killing about 2 or 3 dozen people, 2,000 law enforcement officials injured, a couple $1 billion worth of property damage. That came from the left.
They think there's political juice in threats, Senator. You know, there's political power to be gained from, encouraging violence against our Supreme Court justices. But Senator, you were poised to fill the dearly departed Senator Lindsey Graham's role as chair of the Senate Budget Committee. And I will read you a quote that you have said, you told, I think it was Punch Bowl, that you'll be far more stalwart in insisting that we return to a reasonable pre-pandemic level of spending. I call you a budget hawk as the highest compliment. Are you on board with reconciliation 3.0? And President Trump wants $350 billion for defense spending in that puppy.
Well, first of all, this is not the way I want to become chairman of the Budget Committee. We really are just in a state of mourning right now.
Yes, sir.
Lindsey Graham is irreplaceable. But it is true that I've been pushing for a return to a reasonable pre-pandemic level of spending in the first reconciliation bill, and I would certainly push forward in a third. I'm fully supportive of working toward a third reconciliation bill. What I'll try and do is bring my business experience to bear in terms of organizing the effort, make sure that we're all on the same page. Politics is the art of what's possible, and recognizing what is possible and trying to deliver the best possible reconciliation package to the American people for the benefit of the American people.
Well, those of us who hate deficits have high hopes for you in this role. I think it's going to be a battle in Reconciliation 3.0. I know one of the big offsets they're talking about is waste, fraud, and abuse. Is that going to satisfy you quickly, Senator, as an offset for the new spending in that bill?
Yes, because there's so much of it. The lowest estimate for fraud in the federal government comes from GAO at $250 billion a year. LexisNexis puts the figure at $1 trillion. When we did our first reconciliation bill, we didn't have the Nick Shirley tapes. We didn't know about the massive tip of the iceberg fraud in the Somali population in Minnesota, California, other states as well. So no, this is a completely different environment. And oh, by the way, Wall Street Journal just reported Medicaid increased by 10% this year. Remember, we were accused of slashing and cutting Medicaid. No, it increased 10% this year. So again, we're going to just lay the facts on the table. I already talked to Lindsey's staff about holding hearings to lay out the reality. And the reality is there ought to be more than enough waste and fraud to reduce the federal spending by without harming anybody from a standpoint of benefits.
Too much state control, if you ask me, over who gets Medicaid at the state level, but that's just my personal opinion. But tell them that if interest rates go in the wrong direction, Senator, the interest on our national debt could even top Social Security as our #1 budget item, and that's frightening. Senator Ron Johnson, and thank you for voting against that housing bill. Praise you, sir.
My pleasure.
Thanks, Senator. Appreciate your time.